Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God. This is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up, drop me a comment. Click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. You have to click the bell icon for all notifications. Hopefully the camera angle is better for today. I made a change to the camera for today based on some feedback from the other day. One of the other things I'm going to consider doing when we go to price data is putting the price data perhaps on the left here, on the left, same way that you would read the price indicators on the left and keep the camera in the upper right-hand corner. But for now, we're going to be in the bottom right-hand corner, so I hope it's not throwing you off. I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday. This is, as they call it, hump day. Yeah, there's that. But I'll tell you what, summer is starting to really fly by. You know, for July, there's 31 days in the month of July. I am correct in making that statement, right? Aren't there 31 days? Yes, there are. We're almost halfway through July, which is crazy to think about. We're going to be in 2024 before you know it. And I just texted someone earlier today, and I said that, you know, if my hypothesis is correct, I really believe the next 3 to 9 months for me personally will be life-changing, and for others in the space as well who take advantage of the opportunity I think that are at hand. I think maybe 3 months is a little premature, but you know, the next 5 to 9 months, you know, if things really do sort of pan out the way that I am anticipating, kind of went into one in depth of that again yesterday in terms of what I'm anticipating for the market. I've spoken to it on this live channel for a long time now in terms of what my expectations are going into the end of this year. But if I am correct, boy, it's things are going to get really juicy really quick. You know, one of the other things that I did, if you're not following me, by the way, give me a follow on Twitter at Crypto Bull God. I've seen my followers recently surge a bit. I'm up to 13.4, which is great to see. So I've gotten some new followers in. If you're new, by the way, if you're new to the live stream, please drop me a comment. I'd like to hear from some new followers that are checking out the new subscribers here that are checking out the channel. But earlier today, beyond the fact that I did squat 385 solidly for 5 clean repetitions this morning that I was very happy about. Yeah, I gave this quick update, and I don't know if I was listening to something that made me think to do this, and I put a lot of content out on Twitter, so that's why it's important to give me a follow. But really what I started to think about today is when we do enter a parabolic state of the market, okay, when we do enter that true parabola, things are going to move very quickly, okay? The largest amount of gains that you have the potential to materialize in this market, and what I mean is materialize is to actually sell and realize your gains, they will occur within the shortest amount of time. We undergo long periods of corrections / consolidation periods in this market. And when we start to move, it is quick, it is swift. And that's why there are so many things that I preach on this channel consistently. There's certain messaging that I intentionally hammer home on because, you know, I view it as my responsibility when I come out here and I share things with you guys. I really am genuinely trying to help you out. And so if I'm trying to help you out, I'm going to consistently deliver the same types of important messaging so that it gets hammered into your head. And one of the most critical things, possibly the most important thing I could ever communicate to you on this channel, is that emotion is a money killer. You can't allow emotions to interject in your investment philosophy, in your investment strategy, okay? You really need to be robotic. You know, when I took professional trading classes or professional stock reading, chart reading classes way back in the day, back in 2016, the person who led that seminar, led those classes, he would reiterate the same thing. Emotion is a money killer. You have to be robotic. And I could not agree more. I could not agree more. You can love, I'll give you an example. You can love XRP. You can love the project, but you have to be able to separate that emotional love for the project from the investment that you have. Okay, XRP is not going to $100 this cycle. It's just is not going to happen. The lawsuit news isn't going to come out, and XRP is going to shoot up to $100. If you're waiting for $100, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Okay, so you have to remain very logical with your investment strategy. Let's see who we have in the house. Which, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on YouTube. Even Instagram, I do a lot of gym motivational stuff on Instagram. It's a little bit different than crypto, though I do put some crypto content out there sometimes. And you can also follow me on TradingView. It's one word. It's just Crypto Bull God. BCK, glad to see you back in the house. I feel like I haven't seen you comment in a while. USD went bye-bye today. We'll take a look at the DXY. And I'll get into some commentary that I've reiterated in the past on that. No Bingus, you just subscribed to my channel. Welcome in. I'm glad to see a new face here. So a new virtual avatar, if you will. So glad to see you in the house. We do a lot of charts on this channel. And by the way, for all those new tuning in, and there will be plenty of time today, the part of my live stream that I really enjoy the most is the live TA Q&A. Okay, so once I get through the charts that I want to cover, there's not really a lot of charts that I wanted to cover today. It's opened up to you guys. Any charts that you'd like me to chart, let's take a look together. Yes, I hate the word bud. Thank you for that correction, BCK. Champ, I'll take champ. I'll take the champ is in the house. I'll take that. All right, let's get into Bitcoin here. Now, one of the things that I had pointed out on Twitter is that right now, it's a valid formation. This isn't my hope. Okay, I'm just pointing out what is valid and is contained within the chart here. We have a pole and a pennant. This is a bull pennant, flag pennant, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm looking at this MACD to cross up. Now, this 12-hour candlestick is not going to close for another 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, so we'll have to see where this closes at. But I'm looking for this MACD to curl up. I'm looking for volume to come in and to close above 31,000. Remember, one of the other things that I had tweeted out in that audio message, I believe you, my friend, no worries. One of the things that I had tweeted out in my audio message earlier today is that I am anticipating July to be a very bullish month, okay? Whether it's this week or next week, okay? Again, the swiftest price action occurs within the smallest amount of time. You can have 3/4, 75% of your month could be stagnant consolidation. 10 to 15% could make it 10. What I mean is 10 to 15% of the days could result in a 30% move. And then you got another 10% of the month that is just consolidation at those higher levels, right? This is crypto. And if you're not familiar with that, welcome to cryptocurrency, the most volatile market that you could be ever involved in at the moment. But right now, all that's going on is we're just consolidating in this triangular pennant formation, and we're in a bull pennant, okay? So we'll have to see if this breaks up. My expectations are that we're going to break up. Now, could we break down? Of course, and I've spoken to areas of support here. Main area, again, we're looking at the 12-hour chart. What's up, Track? Glad to see you in the house, brother. Again, main area of support on the 12-hour chart if you've been following me for a while. No Bingus if you haven't been following me for a while, just to catch you up to speed. I've done a lot of studying on the historical significance of the 12-hour chart. Bitcoin has limited price data. We only have a little bit over a decade of data. That's not a lot of information to go on. And so we need to be creative and think outside the box in terms of different charts that we can look at. One of the charts that we can use is the 12-hour chart, a day cut in half. And when you study that chart, one of the things you quickly realize is when we're in a bullish uptrend, okay, when we're headed towards ultimately what I believe will be a new all-time high, once we get these golden crosses on the 12-hour where the 50 simple moving average crosses above the 200 and they're both moving up, what oftentimes likes to happen, okay, sometimes we get a small deviation here, right? But most often, we typically get price action that responds like this. We come down to the 200, it acts like a magnet, and then we propel off of it. This was a little bit longer of a deviation here, but quickly we rebounded, okay? So what I'm saying, I bring that up to say that if we are looking for a correction here, if we don't move up right away, this area right around the 200 simple moving average is something that I would be looking for at around 28,200, okay? Again, price wicks are an expression of volatility. We could wick below here. I could care less if we wick to below 27,500. The point is, if we come down here, I wouldn't expect to hang out down here long. Whether it's 1 candle, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 candles, we come down here, we will quickly bounce. History tells us this. This chart has garnered a lot of attention on Twitter. I've charted out quite a few charts, over time that have garnered, several hundred views and retweets and things like this. This is nearing 1,000 likes. So that's really good to see that it's garnering a lot of attention. I never tweet things out. I don't put YouTube content out to garner attention. That goes against my moral fibers as a human being. That's not who I am. I'm just clearly trying to convey to you what I see in this chart. This is graphically depicting how I'm viewing this chart. There have been 3 wave movements up. Okay, excuse me. 2 wave movements up, wave 1 and 3. And there have been 2 corrective waves. Corrective waves in an Elliott wave structure is an ABC correction. We see the wave 2, we see the wave 4. We're waiting for the 5th wave to complete here. And again, I've continued to illustrate this thing. I came on record again last year in October of 2022 and stated this much. Okay, so again, I'm just very simply trying to depict to you what I see going on. I've been trying to put some thought into, as you guys know, if you've been paying attention the past couple of days, I did mention I'm going to be traveling next week. I'm going home up north to visit my family. And so I will be live streaming next week. I'm not going to stop live streaming, although I know for sure I won't be able to live stream on Monday. There's also going to be a special live stream, I believe next Wednesday. I'm going to have a special guest, and I'm going to be looking to restart a certain live stream on my channel. More to come on that if my brother's listening. But one of the other things I wanted to state is I'm going to make a conservative effort to also get additional TA videos out there beyond the live streams, okay? And that's something I'm going to be working on this weekend. One video that I'm planning to put out, I had spoken to the Digibyte community. I'm going to be putting out a Digibyte video. The other video I'm looking to put out is going to be a video on Bitcoin. I'm going to give you the most probabilistic view, in my opinion, in terms of how I see things playing out towards the 4th quarter and 1st quarter of next year. I'm going to give you sort of 2 main scenarios that I'm looking for to play out. So keep an eye out on that video. I'm going to create them this weekend and then publish them by next week. Track says live streaming the same times. Yes, so I'm just traveling way up north. I'm not going to speak to specifically where I grew up but I, where my hometown is. But I've at least said I grew up in Pennsylvania, right? So I'm traveling up to Pennsylvania, Eastern PA. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You guys know this. You can look behind me and see the Eagles stuff here. So yeah, I'm going to Eastern PA. So I'm still going to be on the Eastern time zone. So my live streams should be around the same time every day, but that's why it's important to click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live, because honestly, while I'm with my family, I only travel up there twice a year. I don't want my schedule to revolve around my live streams. I'd like to enjoy time with my parents and my brother and sister-in-law, and so I will live stream, but the times could be different during the day, so just keep an eye out for that. I'll try to live stream at the same time, but if I have something going on, it's going to be earlier in the day. Won't be later. I'm not a late person. I am an early person. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning. Yes, 4 a.m. What other chart that I want to cover here? Again, just wanted to reiterate my general expectations. July, I want it to close in this area, okay? If the July candle does not close, not a price wick, if it doesn't close somewhere between 35.5 and 43, if July closes above $40,000, that would exceed my expectations. My main expectation is we're going to be in this box between 35.5 and 38.9. I want to see a monthly candle close up here. If we can't close at or above 35.5 thousand at the end of July, again, I'm going to have to evaluate the charts and really ask myself, do I see a parabolic top coming in this year? YC, what's up, brother? Glad to see you in the house. Yeah, I want to update the community on Digibyte because I do see a very strong impulse potentially coming in very soon. So I want to update the community in terms of what I'm seeing there. You have a lot of these OG coins popping off too, right? You've had your Bitcoin Cash. Litecoin, I still believe is going to make a fairly sizable move of 50% or more. I think Ethereum Classic is setting up for a large move. Digibyte is another OG coin. I think Digibyte is primed to make a very large move soon. So I'm going to get into that in the TA video. So we'll discuss that. Now, real quick, guys, by the way, drop your TA questions here. No Bingus, I know you're new to the channel, so if you have any projects that you'd like me to chart out for you here, I'd be very happy to do that. Let me know, else I'm going to start running through my watch list and kind of chart the ones that make sense to me. But honestly, I wanted to talk about the equity markets real quick. Now, and I'm going to get into the dollar index. Forgot about that one. It's and I've reiterated this on this channel many a times, okay? It's very important that we understand what's going on in traditional equity markets, right? The whole reason, okay? I want to go to a tweet that I had sent out here today, actually. No, I had tweeted this out yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday. Now I want you to read this, and I'll actually read it to you. But it says the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 all appear primed to move towards new all-time highs shortly. So you're telling me that this is going to happen and Bitcoin won't be hitting a new all-time high as well, and crypto altcoins won't be going ballistic. My point is this. We're going to take a quick look at the Dow Jones, S&P, and Nasdaq. I'm going to give you my view on those charts. There is absolutely no foreseeable way that I see all three of those making new all-time highs and Bitcoin not making a new all-time high relatively shortly thereafter. Why do I say that? Well, first off, I've exhibited in prior live streams plenty of times the positive correlation that exists between crypto and equity markets, right? A positive correlation means they generally move in the same direction, right? One goes up, the other goes up, one goes down, the other goes down. But think about psychologically what else is going on in the market. Why would Bitcoin and your altcoins go ballistic, okay, if equity markets are making a new all-time high, right? Why would that be the case? That is signaling to market participants that it is a risk-on environment. In a risk-on environment, when everyone, you have a lot of retail people that are sidelined, you have professional institutional investors that had doom and gloom for 2023. I was not one of them. What have I been saying since mid to late 2022? Doom and gloomers for the entire year of 2023. We're going to have this massive recession and the stock market's going to go crazy down, right? I never thought that there's a probability for everything, but that was not my main thesis, right? The point is, you have all that money on the sidelines, and what's going to happen is increasingly as the stock market goes higher and we begin to breach prior all-time highs and set new all-time highs, it will be what's called a risk-on environment. People will be more risky with how they're using their capital. And if there's any market that you want to be exposed to during a risk-on environment, crypto is the number one market you want to be exposed to. When it is a risk-off environment and the stock market is going down, crypto is going to get hit a lot harder, okay? It's going to get hit a lot harder. But on a risk-on environment, on the flip side, okay, because it's such a risky investment, there's a lot of capital that's going to flood in here, and it's going to cause these things to surge monumentally in value. I hope that makes sense. Intuitively, that should make sense. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, what I'm signaling with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, there's a rough area of resistance here at about, looks like I have it at 34,700. We're sitting at 34,350, okay? The big thing that I'm looking at for July, is this bullish cross up on the MACD. If we get a favorable close for the month of July on the DJI, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we're going to get a bullish cross on the monthly, on a higher time frame. Now, this isn't Bitcoin. This is not the case where we have limited price data of just over a decade. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has decades and decades and decades of price data. And what you can do is you can go back in history and you can say, okay, in the past, when the MACD has been above zero on the monthly and we've gotten a positive cross, what has it led to? And if you look at what has historically happened, statistically speaking, this isn't my emotional view, statistically speaking, we have a very high statistical probability of seeing several months to the upside. What that would imply, several months to the upside, look at how far we are from all-time highs. We're at 36,950. I'm not good with math. I'm an actuary. I'm not even going to pull out the calculator. That's about 10%. We're like 10% away from touching all-time highs, okay? So if I'm telling you, think about this, connect the dots here. If I'm telling you at the end of the month, the MACD has a positive cross, we go green, the blue is above the orange, and I'm saying that we have a high statistical probability of seeing several months to the upside, and point two is all we need is a 10% move to be at prior all-time highs. That should tell you there's a very high probability over the course of the next several months after July, we're going to reach new all-time highs on the Dow Jones. Okay? Myself and only a few others that I can think of were calling for new all-time highs in the stock market in 2023. There were not many people in 2022 that had the bull balls to call for new all-time highs in Bitcoin and the stock market back in 2022 when all that shit was taking place. I was one of them. Now, the S&P, again, we have this main area of resistance we need to get through, so it'll be very interesting. This is on the weekly. We can go to the monthly on the same time frame. Really wanted to look at the NASDAQ, though. So you can see we need a little bit of a push up here. I want to start getting above 4,600. We're sitting at 4,472. I mean, that's like that's just under a 4% move. That's about a 3. Again, I'm doing the math in my head. That's about a 3.5, 3 1/3, 3 1/3, 3 1/4 move from here. That's not much of a move to get above here. You can already see on the monthly we have a MACD cross. And I didn't do a study on the S&P to see, statistically speaking, what the probabilities are. I did on the Dow, but I'm assuming it's very similar to the Dow. That now we have a cross on the MACD. Probably more than likely, without looking at the data, statistically speaking, we have a very high likelihood of seeing several months to the upside now. And it's very similar to the Dow. But let's look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is the most interesting of all. Look at what we're doing here, and I'll explain these vertical lines here in a moment for those new tuning in. Look at these areas of resistance right here. We're pressed right up against it on the monthly. We already have our MACD cross. RSI looks beautiful at 63, 62.5. The stochastic RSI is topped out at 100 here. We can be topped out forever on that thing, though. That's not a concern of mine. And literally right now we're sitting at 15,300. The all-time high looks to be at about 16,700. So we are literally 10% away. Same as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're literally 10% away from touching prior all-time highs. Does it really seem that crazy to you that we're going to set new all-time highs in the stock market? Doesn't seem that crazy to me. And again, if we look at the daily gain today on NASDAQ, you'll see that, the NASDAQ was up 1.25 points, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what the hell is going on with Bitcoin? Look at this thing. It's down 1%. Are we down 1% right now? Oh my God, we're down 1% on Bitcoin. Guys, I've spoken way too many times to the positive correlation that exists between equity markets and crypto and Bitcoin. Remember, during this period, we went through a whole live stream about it. I'm not going to regurgitate the same information. During this period of time, of this consolidation, the stock market was moving up, and I said, guys, history says we just have to be patient. Crypto is lagging the stock market right now, and more than likely what's going to happen is Bitcoin and crypto will make a large move up while the stock market either continues moving up a little or just consolidates. That's exactly what happened. We moved up from about 24,000, 25,000 all the way up to 31,500. Just like that in the blink of an eye, guys. Remain patient. I understand on a day like today, and it's important not to pay attention to the day-to-day volatility. For most of you, you don't have the level of expertise to zoom in on a one-day chart or even a three-day chart. You should really look at like a monthly or weekly. I mean, that's really what would benefit you most. A weekly chart, a 2-week chart, a monthly chart, kind of assess price data and at that level. But the important thing to keep in mind is in many ways, traditional equity markets are in a sense showing us the way that Bitcoin ultimately and crypto ultimately is going to go. We will come back and revisit this conversation when equity markets do break prior all-time highs, because I feel very, 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 very convicted that when that happens, it's going to be very much a risk-on environment, and you're going to see very large moves in Bitcoin and crypto. Again, I'm expecting that $5,000, $10,000 candlestick this month for Bitcoin. I am expecting to see Bitcoin for the month of July closing at and above 35,500. We will see. We have 19 days, and that is a very long time in crypto, so we shall see. The only other thing I wanted to take a look at is the DXY. And then I'm gonna turn it over to you guys. I'm gonna hand it over to you and see what crypto TA questions you do have. Now I know the dollar index had a strong move down today. I think last I looked, we were sitting at 100. We'll have to see where we're at. Oh, we broke 100. Beautiful. Oh no, we didn't break 100. We're okay. So let's revisit an earlier conversation that we had on the DXY. So I created an entire YouTube video, a published video, speaking to the correlation that exists between the DXY, the dollar index, and both equity and crypto. Now, in this case, we don't have a positive correlation. In this example, what we have is what's called an inverse relationship. So, meaning as the dollar is moving up, as the dollar is expressing strength in its chart, that is bad for crypto and equity markets. They tend to go down. As the dollar index is exhibiting weakness and it is moving down, we have the inverse relationship being exhibited within equity and crypto charts. Okay. Now, it does not happen at a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of timing. Okay. Again, there are lags in timing of things. Just because you have a day where the DXY is down 1% or 2%, it does not mean that same day Bitcoin is running up 5%. That's not what it means. It means the general path of things moving down, equity and crypto tend to take that inverse opposite relationship upwards, okay? What we're seeing now is very, very important fundamentally in this chart. And it's interesting, guys, I got to tell you, it's very interesting. I actually didn't go back to this chart and explain what's going on here. Before I explain what's interesting in the DXY, what I'm finding very interesting right now is how everything seems to be lining up for the move that I'm anticipating. Okay, what do I mean by that? The name of this live stream is all in the charts. Okay, I believe, and this is counterintuitive to 95% of the population out there, or 97% of the population, I believe the news follows the charts. The charts do not follow the news. Okay, everything is baked into the data. I am a data scientist. I say this over and over again. My full-time occupation, I am an actuary. I evaluate data. I love data. I'm a math nerd, okay? And this is why I love technical analysis so much. This represents, in this case on the NASDAQ, 38 years of price data. And this price data based on candlesticks and price indicators and price formations and all these things, it tells us we can make inferences about it, about statistical likelihoods moving forward of what we can expect. And one of the most interesting things I find about what's going on right now, this orange vertical line represents the time period in which the Federal Reserve announced an interest rate pause. And guys, we spent an extensive amount of time talking about what is most likely next. We saw inflation today down at 3%, below expectations, consensus expectations. Interesting. The question you have to ask yourself, if you didn't even look at data for a moment, do you really think the Federal Reserve is going to increase interest rates this month? based on the fact that inflation is where it's at right now? Question one. Question two, if you were here for the live stream where I went through 70 years of price data and spoke to the statistical likelihood of what the next general direction for the Federal Reserve is, then you would understand that we're more than likely going to have several months of a Fed rate pause. Something is going to happen in the economy. Now, you know that I believe, if you follow me on Twitter and you follow some of my commentary here, I believe the banking crisis in March of 2023 signaled the start of the banking crisis. That wasn't the end of the banking crisis. That was the start. So my best educated view is what will cause the Federal Reserve to decrease interest rates will be some sort of systemic issue within the banking industry that is far worse than what we saw in March of 2023. Okay? And what I've highlighted here in red is if we look at, I think it was the past 3 or 4 times that the Federal Reserve paused interest rates, at what point can we expect to receive a signal from the Fed that they're going to begin to decrease interest rates, okay? And that would put us right between December and July, okay? Somewhere in between December and July, I think on the earlier side, though. You have to have some level of deviation in here. Maybe you have a 1 to 2 month deviation and it's October through like September. I would say sometime between the fourth quarter and first quarter is my expectation they'll begin to decrease interest rates. That's my expectation. And furthermore, if you understand what happens with equity markets and what will happen with crypto as a result of interest rate decisions, if it's just empirical data, as we remain paused, and this is interesting how all this stuff is just lining up, as we remain paused, it provides opportunity for equity and crypto to run. Data tells us that. As soon as we signal an interest rate decline, at that point, shortly before or shortly thereafter, that is when you need to get out. Okay, that's what the data says. You need to get out because shortly after there, we're going to see some sort of a significant correction within equity markets and crypto, right? So it's interesting that the timing of all this provides us, think about it. If the Federal Reserve hikes an interest rate, let's just say the midpoint here around February, okay? Right around February, we signal an interest rate hike. Data tells us we have all this time to run up till around February, March, maybe even April until we start to get a correction, okay, in equity markets and in the crypto markets. The other interesting thing that's starting to line up, thumbs up, by the way. I have nobody enforcing the thumbs up right now. If you hide the chat, you can give a thumbs up. I appreciate it for support. Really, guys, I appreciate it. The other interesting thing that's starting to line up right now, which again lends additional credence to the hypothesis that we will see a strong run in both equity markets and crypto, is the fall of the DXY. Guys, what did I chart out here? This is not a bull. Excuse me. This is a bear pennant. This is a descending triangle. We have lower highs and a flat base. Okay, that's a bearish pattern. But it also comes with a move down. When you have a move down like this, not only is it a descending triangle, but the other thing that it's important to point out is because you have a pole here, it is a bear pennant. This is a bearish pattern that has a technical target in the mid to low 90s, okay, that I drew out for you before. I think it was in the, no, it actually has a technical target all the way down here at 89. I don't know if we're going to go all the way down to 89, though. My box down here is all the way at 95 to 89, okay? I think more strongly, I would aim towards that 95 to 92 area, but we'll have to see where things land. But the important thing that you're seeing in the DXY, why I'm really excited about what I'm seeing going on in price action right now, what is happening here? What is happening with this candlestick? Now, this is a weekly candlestick. We have to wait for the DXY to close at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, okay? So, in 2 days time frame, in 2 days, if we maintain price levels around this area, what is happening here? Why am I so excited about this, right? Well, you can see this is our base, right? If we break with a candle body, what we are signaling is we're beginning to break the bear pennant. That pennant is potentially beginning to play out, okay? So what it should statistically result in, the highest statistical probability, is a further move down. Now, what you could see is a move down like this, and maybe a move back up to retest this level. Because again, once you break an area of prior support, we often like to come back up and back test it, and now it's resistance, and then just a further plummet down. Now, if you followed all of my earlier commentary from prior TA videos and my earlier recap on the inverse relationship between the DXY and crypto and equity markets, what that should tell you is, ding, 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 if the DXY is moving down, equity markets and crypto in relative fashion should be moving up. All these things are just beginning to line up, guys. It's all beginning to line up. We have a breakdown in the DXY. The Federal Reserve has paused interest rates. I've used empirical, factual data to tell us what is most likely for equity and crypto moving forward and interest rates. It's allowing us time to run. Remember, my theory, my hypothesis, I continue to reiterate. I probably bugged the hell out of my family. I texted my family at about 6 in the morning this morning. And I said, because again, I get up very early. I texted my family early this morning. Well, what the hell did I say? I just said melt up before melt down. Is that what I said? I texted my family and I said, yes, melt up before melt down. And I think I tweeted the same thing out to Twitter earlier today. That is my view. I think there's a lot of euphoria that's going to come in. And as soon as that euphoria really starts to build and you see all the bullish things going on within legacy news media outlets, that's when you know it's time to begin selling, but more so time to understand that the market is at a point where it's very frothy and it's time to begin selling soon, because you don't want to be invested heavily in a market that's a very euphoric, right? That's the time to sell out. And you want to exercise a lot of discipline and a lot of smart, thoughtful investing when the market is very fearful, right? This is the time, ideally, if you know what you're doing, that you don't catch the exact bottom, right? But you're buying all in these levels, even these levels, okay? You're buying all in these levels. And then what you're doing is you're selling during this. You're not catching the top, but you're selling all during this, okay? That is ideally, if you're a really good investor, how you capitalize on your gains. Paper gains, they look nice when you open up your ledger, right? If you open up your ledger and you look inside there and you see that your balance is $50,000 and you're like, oh my God, I started off with like $5,000 or $10,000 and now I'm up to $50,000. That's incredible. I've made $40,000 or $45,000. Yeah, that's nice, but that stuff is digital. It represents the value of the tokens you hold. You're not going to capitalize on any of that stuff and actually materialize the gains until you sell it. So that's why it's important to be robotic, unemotional, and have a buy-sell strategy. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. Any TA questions? Hey, YC. I appreciate your comment, man. Yeah, I do work a 9 to 5. I do have a career that I've been in for a really long time. So it's not like I have oodles and oodles of time to be doing this stuff. So I do appreciate that it's well received. Thank you. And when you guys share positive feedback like that, you may not think that it means much, but it really does. So thank you for the positive feedback. It really does give me motivation and energy to keep churning out content. So thank you very much for sharing that. I got a question on AYO. I'm not even familiar with that. No Bingus. He is a brand new subscriber, so much appreciated. Let's go to crypto base layout. What the hell is that? I have no idea. Let's go to a blank chart and let's chart this out. AYO. 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 Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That was an acronym for something. Now I feel really stupid. Are you trying to say KEK? Sometimes when you do these live streams and you're thinking on the spot, man. Are you talking about KEK? Yeah, not a lot of price data there, brother. Not a lot to comment on, honestly. If you're asking about KEK, I don't know what AYO acronym means. Maybe I'm just dated and old. I apologize. But as far as you know what, even if you didn't ask me to chart this, we're going to take a look at it. Anybody who's in KEK, first off, there's not a lot of price data. It's very rare I'm going to go to a 12-hour chart, but I need to because there's not now, let me tell you, if you caught the bottom here and you ran this thing up, good work by you. We have a cross on the stochastic RSI here. RSI, MACD. Let's just focus on price data. Looks like we might have a falling wedge here. Oh, Keck is slang for LOL. Son of a bitch. I feel so stupid right now. And I don't know what... Guys, don't throw acronyms to this old man over here. Actually, I'm not that old. But don't throw acronyms to me because sometimes I don't have a clue. And when you're live streaming and you see 3-letter acronyms, you think they're crypto symbols. Guys, do you have any TA questions? Keck is slang for LOL. I've never heard of that before. I feel so fucking ignorant right now. You're getting on the edge of your seat. Can we launch this summer? I think this month is going to be a big month, Evan. We're going to find out. Bitcoin dominance track. Great question. We haven't looked at it in a bit. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance before I get to any of your other comments. Great question. You guys know from prior live streams, I think it's very important for credibility, right? I'm an extremely humble individual. The Bitcoin dominance chart is one of those charts that did not work out like I thought, okay? I thought we had a bear flag. I thought we were due for a move down. Sorry, I got this bad itch. I thought we were due down for a move sooner rather than later, and it did not happen. So what do you do as a chartist when a pattern doesn't play out? By the way, thumbs up for everyone tuning in. I see there are not a lot of likes relative to viewers. Appreciate the support. What do you do what does a good technical analyst do when a pattern or something in the data doesn't work out as in alignment with their primary hypothesis? You allow the emerging price data to speak to you. You reformulate your view. That's the best thing you can do, right? Stay humble and be disciplined. So what did I do here? Once we broke out from this line at around 49%, I'm targeting 53 to 58%. I do not think Bitcoin dominance is going to top until we get up into this 53 to 58% zone. How did I come up with 53 to 58%? I just scrolled to the left and I looked for prior areas of confluence. That's what you do as a technical analyst. You look for price confluence, and the easiest way you can do it, look left, okay? So when I look left, I see 53 to 58%, okay? So am I saying that we're going to come up here and hang out for a while? No, we're not. Bitcoin dominance is not coming up here, in my opinion, hanging out for a while. We're going to get some sort of wick up here. We're going to be overbought on the dominance. We're going to be overbought. Yes, dominance can be overbought. You can use the same terminology as you would with a USD crypto chart, okay? Anyone that tells you otherwise has no clue what they're talking about. We will be overbought on the dominance once we're up here. I don't see us hanging up in this zone very long. And as we start to drift down, the other thing I've spoken to many times, we have hit this way too many times. This area right around 39 to 40%, this area is so weak. It's like a floor. This floor used to be made of marble. It is literally made of plywood at this point. Okay, this is a plywood floor. And because we've hit it so many times, it's gotten weaker and weaker and weaker. We took a jackhammer to that marble floor. It's turned into a plywood floor. And so when we come down to this area and we hit it again, it is going to break. Okay, and that is when things are going to get really interesting and juicy for altcoins. Great question on Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at the price indicators real quick. RSI also indicated this topping zone. This is my topping zone in the RSI. We're right up in there between 72.5 and 77.5. I still think we have higher to go on the dominance. We'll have to see. We're hanging out right now at 51.5. Again, minimum target is 53. Maximum target is 58. Let's see what else we got here. I've been watching your past videos, bro. I really like your energy. Keep it going. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate the positive feedback. I really do. I try not to be boring, right? I try to bring a little bit of energy to the space. Outside of weight training, this is inarguably my biggest passion outside of weight training. So I definitely try to bring a lot of energy to the space. So I appreciate that it's well received. Telling you, man. Bull run this channel goes. I hope so. I'm putting in a lot of work. I'm putting in a lot of work. I finally was able to monetize the channel. It took a long time, but I finally have been able to monetize the channel. I was on the phone with someone recently who was giving me some suggestions for the channel. With what little time I have, I'm going to put in additional efforts to get some published TA videos out there outside of the live stream. So what you should be seeing is three published videos every week outside of the daily live streams as well. So keep an eye out for those, but I appreciate it. It's the 40-year-old in you, bro. You don't know how old I am. I am older than I look, but we won't give age away. Let's keep that on the down low. I hope I can buy a house with 1 BTC. So, you know what? This channel, real quick, Evan. No, I'm glad you mentioned that. So, this channel is dedicated towards technical analysis and looking at the short to intermediate future, right? I will say, I think the longer you go out and you project out and you talk about prices, the more inaccurate you're going to be, right? The greater the amount of time you move out in terms of asserting where you think price is going to be, doesn't it make sense the longer the period of time, the more uncertainty, so the less certain you're going to be where prices are going to go, the more variability there is? And so it's fun, though, to have a dialogue. Do I think that Bitcoin ultimately will be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars someday? Yeah, absolutely. I think we're a long ways away from it sustaining a value up there, okay? But yeah, I think it's going to be up there because the thing I think you guys need to focus on is instead of focusing on what the USD value is, ask yourself this question. Where do you see the market capitalization of Bitcoin going? Where do you see the market capitalization of the entire crypto market going? Well, if you were to say, okay, Bitcoin really will be some sort of digital representation of gold. It'll be a store of value. It has all these fundamental properties that match gold, but even exceed gold in some ways. Okay, well, if it's like a $9 trillion market cap or a $7 trillion market cap, you're talking about a $350,000 to $450,000 Bitcoin. So yes, I think long term it will at some point sustain itself in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin. And the reason that I think is as hard as that is for people to believe who don't know this space well, I don't focus on the USD value. If you told someone the USD value when Bitcoin was at 100, it would be up in the $30,000 to $60,000 range. They would have thought you were fucking nuts. But what you really, in my opinion, need to focus on is not the USD value. You need to focus on the market capitalization value. And when you think about it in those terms, it absolutely makes sense. What else we got here? I think it's good to have a mix of BTC, ETH, and XRP. I own all three. I think it's good to have a mix of all three, Evan. So owning Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, I own all three. I think, never financial advice, I think it's good to have a mix of all three. What's up, Jorge? Always good to see you in the house. Mr. BBC is glad to see you in the house. What's up? How's the nursing program going, by the way? How's everything going with that? I know you were taking an exam that one day a few weeks back. YC Digibyte. We're not gonna chart. We're not gonna chart Digibyte today because I don't want to steal the momentum from the video I'm gonna put out. So I will have a video out next week on that. Video will be out Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Jorge, you'd like to buy a house with 10 XRP in San Francisco? Well, first off, San Francisco is about one of the worst places you could buy real estate because it's outrageously overpriced. Only place I can think of that's worse than that is New York City. Who in their right mind would want to live in a 200 square foot penthouse for, $3,000 a month? I mean, who in the hell would want to do that? But if you're waiting for 10 XRP, my friend, ooh, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Well, so I've been saying BTC, Bitcoin did go from 3,000 to 69,000. I wonder what ETH could do at almost at 2,000. Well, keep in mind. Keep in mind that it's really important to focus on market capitalization and a lot of the charts that I've covered on here in terms of what we're seeing with the ETH BTC chart. Again, I believe that ETH, this cycle, well, I mean, if you want to call it a cycle, there's so many ways to interpret the word cycle. By the time we reach our blow off all-time high, I think it is very, very probable. I think it's probable and very possible for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin. But for it to be temporary, for it to be for part of a day or a full day or maybe even 2 days at most, and it'll be temporary. But we've looked at that ETH BTC chart so many times. I think that long term, again, what's going to happen 5 or 10 years from now, I think there could be a brand new project that takes over and supersedes Ethereum. We don't know 5 or 10 years from now what's going to happen. But in the shorter term, I think Ethereum is going to flip Bitcoin, at least temporarily, more than likely, in my opinion. Choose Florida. Guys, so for those that don't know, if you don't know, now you know. Last week when I was on vacation, I took a trip to, I don't know if I told you guys, I was traveling. I wasn't doing the live streams. I was in Sarasota. I was in Sarasota, Florida. I took a trip to Sarasota. And so on Zillow, I have a lot of saved searches. You dropped out of nursing school because of the bull run. Smart move. I just quit my job because of the bull run. Fuck that. I don't need that 6-digit salary. I'm just gonna quit that shit right now. Wait for that bull run. That's what I'm gonna do. No, I have a bunch of saved searches on Zillow for homes all over Florida, and I'm not a real estate expert by any means. I don't know what's gonna, I'm not educated enough to tell you what's gonna happen in the real estate market. But based on what I have studied, I am leaning towards, at least based on my limited educational knowledge, I'm leaning towards it being a very favorable real estate market by the end of 2024, if not 2025. And so I've never owned a home. I'd like to buy a home. I've rented all my life. Some of that is life circumstance. I don't need to go into my personal life story, but some of that is life circumstance. It's not that I couldn't ever have purchased a home. I've always been in a position where I could have purchased a home, but life circumstance, so I've always rented. But I am looking to purchase at some point. I have real estate searches saved all over Florida. At one point, I actually tweeted out to everyone, hey guys, what suggestions do you have for Florida? What looks good, right? And I know one of my followers had mentioned Bradenton. And Bradenton is near Sarasota, and that's actually under my saved searches on Zillow is Bradenton. So while I didn't visit Bradenton, I did visit Sarasota. Guys, if you've never been to Sarasota, Florida, I would say if you enjoy a very chill, relaxed atmosphere, there were some nice places to eat. Definitely was only there for a few days, so didn't get to explore it to the fullest extent possible. They had a sweet gym. That's important. I need to live somewhere where there's a good gym. Very good gym. I was very happy with the gym. Beaches are beautiful, white sand, because you're on that west coast of Florida where you get the Gulf water. So the water's clear. The beaches we went to, the water was very clear. You had white sand. Very beautiful. I could definitely see myself living there. Another place that's on my list that I'm planning to visit at some point. I've been there, but I have not been there in many years. I always saw myself living there after I had traveled there, was Destin, Florida, on the Panhandle. So I have saved searches on Destin, Miramar, Santa Rosa Beach, Fort Washington. That whole area there on the Panhandle looks beautiful, you know. So I don't know. Again, you never know what the future holds. I mean, I also have saved searches in Boca Raton. I have saved searches in Naples. Maybe I'll be in South Florida longer than I think, but I don't think I'm going to be in South Florida for too much longer. I'd be surprised if I'm still in South Florida by 2025. I would be surprised by that. All right, let's see what we got here. Besides Jorge dropping out of nursing school. Smart move, my friend. I also quit my job, like I said. Much respect, BTC, but there are better options out there. It is my number 3. Well, what I would say is, it's up to you. I think Bitcoin should be, I'm never going to offer you financial advice, but I think it would be foolish not to have Bitcoin as part of your portfolio, so it should be in there somewhere. Here's an interesting question to ask you guys. I have a personal goal for myself, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. How many Bitcoin do you want to accumulate? That's a serious question. So you have investments, not just in crypto. Maybe you have real estate. Maybe you have some ETFs, whatever the hell you're invested in, right? But your crypto portfolio, how many Bitcoin do you actually want to own and have in cold storage? I have a number. I'll keep it to myself, but I'd be curious if anyone's willing to share. And quite honestly, if I played the market perfect, no one can. If I played the market perfect, I'd own more Bitcoin than I own now. But it's important, we all make mistakes. You learn from it, you move forward, and it's very important. I'll be buying a house at all-time highs when I cash out some crypto. Yeah, so Evan, what I would encourage you to do is what I'm doing. I'm trying to educate myself on the real estate market, interest rates, and to understand when it would be most favorable to enter the real estate market. Now, it's going to vary geographically. For example, Florida is doing a lot better than most states. Texas is doing, certain parts of Texas and Arizona doing much better than other states. But you really want to do your homework and know when it's wise to enter the real estate market. That is what I am attempting to do now. And network. Know people who know the real estate market. Get their opinions, okay? Don't be stubborn. Don't think that you can do things all on your own. I've said this on this channel. I might be one of the few people who have said this. Think about this for a moment. What do I say to you guys on this channel? I say the number one thing you should do is educate yourself. That's the most important thing you should do. You should use me as sort of a research assistant, an educational research assistant. I'm a data point, right? And there's other TA analysts out there that offer a lot of value. I shouldn't be the only person that you tune into or you follow. There's a lot of other great technical analysts out there. I don't think there's a lot of other people messaging that, right? I'm just very open about that because I'm humble and I realize I don't know everything. And there's a lot of technical analysts out there that provide so much value, and I think it's important that you follow them. I follow technical analysts. I weigh their opinions, whether I agree or disagree, against my own, okay, to make a better informed decision. I think that's the most logical, educated thing you can do. And so it's the same thing in real estate. You got to really make sure you know what you're doing before you go out there and buy a house. Evan, what are your pronouns? Jorge, don't even get me started on that bullshit. You know what? I would just go down a rabbit hole. We're not even going to talk about pronouns. I'm not even doing that shit. Gotta leave that alone. Let's move on. I'm in New Smyrna. Those are all good. I'm not familiar, Evan. I'm not sure what you're referring to. New Smyrna. Those are all good. I'm not sure what location that is. XDC is pumping. Really? Oh, it's funny you say that because I was actually just looking at that token today. 2%. It is pumping hard. Jorge, you're a turd. XDC is not pumping. Why did you have to troll me? You want to have 3 to 4 BTC? I'm currently at 1.5. Nice work. I want to sell one at all-time highs and keep one to ride off into the sunset. Good for you, my friend. Bought ETH at 400-ish. Had around 250. Jesus. Good job, Jorge. Sold it at 900. I saw it go to 4,500. Is this a real story? Went all in into XRP. No, you're trolling, man. You're funny. You bought sold it at 900 and went all in XRP. Oh wow. Guys, I think that's gonna do it for the live stream. I'll be back at normal times tomorrow. Make sure you click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. Fridays, a lot of times, I really do go live at different times. I may have some fun, exciting plans here on Friday. So regardless, I'm not gonna go live on Friday at 5 o'clock. That shit is lame. I need to be doing something else on Friday at 5 o'clock, even if I'm here by myself having a drink and listening to some podcasts. Peace out, Evan. But make sure you click the bell icon to know when I go live. Guys, thank you for the continued support. Thank you for everyone new tuning in. There was at least one new, no Bingus. We have at least one new subscriber, which is great. That's awesome. So appreciate the support, everybody. Take care. Share the video with at least one person. And until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. I will see everyone back here tomorrow. Take care, guys.